Hello friends, welcome to that 1870s homestead. My name is Rachel, and today we're going to be doing something a lot of you have asked for based off a recent post that we did, and I've been just getting into and making, not getting into, but every year I make a big batch of soap for our own household. And now that I have the farm stand, I thought it would be fun to get some soaps ready for the fall and Christmas season to offer. And I've only ever done one soap making video, and that's when we very first started the channel, like 2018. And I was a brand new soap maker, totally intimidated, and the soap Nazis came after me, and I was like, okay, never again. Well, since 2018, I've been making soap, and I feel pretty confident in it. I'm not a professional by any means. I don't do any like fancy coloring or anything like that. I stick to the basics, keep it simple. But today is going to be a little bit jazzy of one, but the basic recipe is pretty much what I use when I make soap for our own home. And it's a basic Castile-type soap. Not 100% olive oil. It will have some coconut oil in it. But come on down here and we're going to get right to it. I'm going to go over the basics of kind of like how do I keep my process smooth and clean. Not clean as in tidy, but not feeling flustered as I go throughout soap making. So first and foremost, you need a kitchen scale to make soap. I've had this kitchen scale for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. It's a Zario brand. I'll make sure to leave the link in the description box below. And I use it all the time, and it's still going strong. So you need a scale so you can weigh out your oils, your water, your lye, things. That's pretty much what you have to weigh. So what I've found is if I get all my oils and fats pre-weighed, then I mix my lye mixture, then I melt my oils on the stove, and I have any mix-ins at trace ready to go. I find that kind of the temperatures of the oil and the lye meet in the middle a lot faster. Following that process, and then I have my mix-ins ready to go, and I'm not like taking my eyes off things too long. So that's it. Let me show you some of the staple type ingredients that I keep on hand, and there's many more that you could have, but these are the basics that I use. Okay, so I have like a big kind of crafting, I'll call it, pantry downstairs that contains everything for things I make homemade, whether it's bug sprays, lotions, soaps, shampoos, you name it. So some of the things that everything that I have used is up here from the last few batches, so that'll give you a good base of what I have. So lye, number one, you're gonna need that. I keep coconut oil in like gallon sizes, so this one's almost done, so I pulled up my second one of coconut oil. You need like a lot of olive oil. Now I have found that I can substitute avocado oil for olive oil in soap recipes just fine. Sweet almond oil you might need. Castor oil is going in today's soap. You might want. You don't have to have these things. You basically need olive oil and some other oil or butter. But again, you don't even have to have that. You can make a lard soap. But this is the ingredients I use. I use shea butter quite frequently in my recipes. And essential oils, so whatever essential oils you like to have on hand. I have a variety of essential oils up here. This is just a container of ground oats and lavender. One thing of palm oil. Now I know this is not sustainable, and I learned about that after I bought this, so this has really gone a long way. And I won't restock palm oil once I go through that. coffee grounds for exfoliating. So this is ground coffee, and that's going in today's recipe. And then flowers, dried herbs, things like that. So I have a bag of lavender up here, a bag of rose petals. I feel like that's it. Okay, and your molds. So you need a soap mold. And then I forgot to mention that you really need to use non-reactive bowls and utensils when you are making soap. So to start out with, I have pre-weighed my olive oil. So now we're going to add in our coconut oil. And a nice feature about a scale, so you see that, oh, come on down, all the olive oil is in there. If you hit that handy dandy tare button, so it will zero it out, and then you can weigh the next thing on your list. So I think I need 7 ounces of this. And I'm following a recipe from the Nerdy Farm Wife. I like a lot of her recipes. Yeah, 7.5 ounces. So let's scoop that out. I will tell you, I haven't found a difference, but I know a lot of probably professionals will melt like their solid butters on the stove and then add in their liquid oils. I just do everything together. So we're up to 5. I don't know if I can scrape this all the way to 7.4. We'll see. So my goal is to do 2 or 3 batches a week of soap. That seems easy right now for me. And it's not, I'm just sitting here in the kitchen making soap all week. And I'm sure I'll get asked if we'll ship any soaps, and all I can say is not yet. We're not ready yet to do any of that, but maybe in the future. I don't know. For me, I'm really cheap, and I'm like, would people like want to pay for shipping for things like that? Like, I don't know, but I think some people would. Oh man, really? I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Okay, we're gonna have to open up the other jar. So I'll be back when I get this coconut oil out, and then we'll meet over at the stove. Actually, the next step will be to do the lye. Alrighty, 7.6 coming up. Oh, too much. 7.7. You gotta go slow when you get to the end. Okay, so empty bowl. Gonna re-tare my scale. Bring you guys down. So this is, I guess, what's kind of the, you know, dangerous type part of the process. So you definitely don't want little ones around your feet or someone that might bump into you and distract you when you're working with lye. Lye is a caustic compound or material, and so I'm using coffee today, but standardly you would use water, but similarly you can use tea, coffee as that liquid base. So we need 9 ounces. So we got our 9 ounces. You always want water first, and then you're going to sprinkle your lye on. And now this is going to, as it dissolves, and you'll see, it's going to create a lot of vapors. So they recommend having, you know, your doors or windows open. Sometimes I'll run my microwave fan if I'm doing it in the winter. But because I'm doing a video today, I'm just going to lean far away so I'm not breathing in those fumes. It's a little too warm outside to have the windows open right now. And then, sorry about the noise, but you are going to just continually stir this until that's all dissolved. And another trick, like if you're using water, the water will turn clear. So it'll start real cloudy, and then it'll turn clear. But because I'm using coffee today, one of the other tips that you can look for is when you stop seeing all those vapors rising. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but there's faint kind of steam, almost like steam. This gets really, really, really hot very fast. I'd say you're probably going to stir it for maybe 2 minutes. You want all that lye perfectly dissolved. I don't know if you guys noticed when I first put that lye in there, it was kind of like a muddy brown. Now it's turning black again, or like coffee color. Alrighty, now I'm gonna put this oil, it's in a double boiler, so there's just water in my pot. And I'm gonna slowly melt this coconut oil in the olive oil. And I got it over medium heat, and I may even lower it a little bit more because we don't want it to get too hot. Basically, what you're looking for is that your oils and lyes come together at a temperature less than 130 degrees. I typically go with around 122, 123 is where I usually find myself meeting in the middle. But that lye gets much, much hotter than that. So by having my oils ready to go, but doing the lye mixture first, that allows my lye to cool off to the time that my oils are right there at the right temperature. Anyway, that's the way it typically works out. So I'll just sit here and stir this till all that coconut oil is melted, and then we'll get out our thermometer and check. And then we're up to basically soap making time. So it doesn't take long, but it's just a little bit of prep work, getting all your ingredients together, and making sure that you don't have any distractions really going on in the house. Okay, I just cut my heat down to almost low because there's just a few little dots of coconut oil in there. And again, I don't want this oil to get too hot because it does take oil longer to cool down than the lye and the water temperature. It's just that the lye and water gets much hotter at the initial beginning. And when I'm doing this in the summer, or in the winter, I should say, I often use my front porch to cool down one thing or the other faster so that I kind of get them to meet. And they should meet within, I think, 5 degrees is the recommendation. But so far this process has worked pretty well where we're usually meeting right on the money. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut that heat off. That warm water will finish melting these last couple chunks of coconut oil. And now let's go check the temperature of our lye and water. I just use a standard kitchen thermometer. Mine's from Pampered Chef. It's nice because it has a magnet on it. So we're still sitting at, if you guys can read that, it's at 141. And then as fast as that, me talking to you, and I got a little bit on my finger and I'm feeling it like itch, kind of like a burn. 138, it's going down quite quick. So I'll just keep checking my lye versus my soap, because my soap right now is going to be right at high 120s, 130. And if I need to, excuse me, I'm just rinsing my hand off. If I need to, I will take that bowl of oil off the stove, and that'll just help cool it a little quicker. Alrighty, my oil's ready, and I think my lye is. So very similarly to what I mentioned about, let me bring you guys up here. So let's just check the temperature of both real quick. So our oil is 122. Okay, let's check our lye. Our lye's at 120. All right, so very similarly at the beginning of the process, I'm gonna get my immersion blender in and make sure to burp it. Okay, at the beginning how we added lye to water, you're gonna add your lye mixture to your oils. Now, even though I used coffee, there won't be any fragrance of that coffee left after we go through the soap making process, which is the whole curing time and all of that. It's just for fragrance. I mean, not fragrance, for color. So I'm gonna give it a couple pulses. Wish I could get you guys in closer. Okay, and then we're gonna stir. We're gonna stir more than we blend. A couple pulses, stir. I'm kind of just picking up my blender, kind of scooping that heavy oil and the light oil from the top to the bottom. And we're looking for what's called trace. And that's where you can trace the lines of the mixture on top. And there's different stages of trace. And when I first started soap making, I would blend the whole time. And I would come to trace way too fast and end up with clumpy, yucky soaps. Okay, we're not quite there yet. Because when we first get to trace, that's when we're gonna add in some of our mix-ins. Okay, I got a light trace there. You guys see that? How I can leave lines on the top? Okay, let's stand our blender up. I'm going in with about a tablespoon of coffee grounds with about a tablespoon of oatmeal, and then about 40 drops of essential oil. I chose cinnamon and some citrus. Similarly, I'm going to use my spatula and get all that out. Okay, and then we're going to go in with like half a tablespoon of castor oil, and that's just going to be for some good lather. Okay, I'm going to stir those in, and then we'll blend. And the coffee grounds will give it an exfoliating, and the oatmeal will be just nourishing and healing. Smells lovely. With cinnamon, I think I'm gonna call this one like breakfast in the shower. Oatmeal and coffee and some citrus and cinnamon flavors. Kind of makes you want to just take a bite. Okay, now we're at a good trace. I can keep like a good clump up there, and that's when we're ready to pour it into our mold. So bring our mold over. Let's get our spatula back, and then we're going to just pour it in. I think this one might be my favorite so far. But that rose and sage, I made a rose sage the other day with the olive oil that I had steeped my roses in. And oh, that was yummy. But even though, I want to say this, if you're starting out, just do a basic soap. And get comfortable with just the soap making process, even if that's, 5 or 6 or 7 years like it was for me. And then start having some fun with either different oils, different soaps, different add-ins. Okay, and then we're just gonna level it off. I don't do anything fancy. and then tap, tap, tap to get any air bubbles up. That's it. And then I take a kind of a piece of cardboard that I've bent and used up, and we're just going to set that cardboard on there. I'm going to put a towel over top of it, and then we're just going to set it. I use my upstairs bedroom, like a guest bedroom. Set it out of the way for 24 hours, up to 48 hours. It just depends how hard it sets up. So as soon as it's ready to unmold, let me come back up here with you guys. As soon as it's ready to unmold, I'll be back and show you the end. And then you have to just let it cure, and that's just patience. I think professional soap makers probably do something like 3 to 4 weeks. I prefer at least 2 months, if not 6 months, especially with a heavy-based olive oil soap. I'm thinking it's July. This will be ready around November for me to have like a long-lasting bar. The longer you let a soap cure, the longer it's going to hold up underwater. All right, guys, it has actually been 2 days. I was super busy canning yesterday and never got to the soap, but this is it, and we're getting it out of our little mold. And gonna pop it out and cut into it so you guys can see. Oh. Smells amazing. Coffee and oatmeal. Yum, yum. So if my ends do that, sometimes I just push them in and make it nice. All right. And then I use my mat. I don't have a handy dandy cutter and my mat has like 1-inch spacing. And I just use my bread knife when I want straight lines, or I have like a cheese cutter that I'll use sometimes. So I do 1-inch blocks. Nice. So pretty. And then once I get all of this cut, I will take it upstairs to my drying rack and have the fan running on it for at least the first week. Wow, that's beautiful. I wish you guys could smell it. Oh, it smells so delicious. Like I said, it's going to smell like breakfast in the shower. It totally does. Okay, now this one I'm just going to shave that little lip. And then little end pieces that I have, we'll either keep for ourselves, or I thought about making like a sample set of, different little end cuts. But I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think if I would have cut this one a little thinner, I could have gotten 10. But anyway, that is soap making. It is simple. It can be intimidating when you first start out. Just give yourself a day to set everything else aside, get your supplies together, and practice. Do it regularly. And regularly can be like a big annual day. And you'll get used to it, and then you'll build your confidence over time. And then it's just something that you never have to buy again from the store. And those supplies that I've shown you, other than the coconut oil, those supplies go a really, really long way. And the olive oil I've had to replace. So, but the lye and the shea butter and all your other little add-ins, they'll last you years. So thanks, guys, for coming along. And if you have any questions, leave them below. But again, we're going to link to a Nerdy Farm Wife's blog. And there's people out there that are much more expert at this than I am. So I will see you guys on the next video. And thanks for coming along.